This is one of the coolest way to enjoy retro gaming on a Raspberry Pi, and what you're seeing on the screen is probably a game you played before. The difference this time is that it's not running the original version. This is an NES ROM hack, and in my opinion, these are seriously underrated. A lot of these games don't feel like simple modifications at all, but more like completely new 8-bit experiences, and that's exactly what makes this setup so interesting. Hey, what's going on everybody? Badger DIY back here again, and in today's video I'm using a Raspberry Pi 4 to build a dedicated retro gaming console. Now there are plenty of things you can do with a little board like this one, like turning it into a Pi-hole ad blocker, setting up as an Android TV box, or even using it as a small home server. But for this build, I wanted to do something a little bit different and focus on a system only one. Today is all about the Nintendo Entertainment System and some of the best NES ROM hacks you can play right now. Quick specs checks. The Raspberry Pi 4 has 4 gigs of RAM and features a 1.5 GHz quad-core 64-bit ARM Cortex-A72 processor, along with a dual-band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.0 and Gigabit Ethernet. It includes two USB 3.0 ports and two USB 2.0 ports and two micro HDMI outputs that support up to 4K at 60 frames per second. Storage is handled via micro SD card slot, and power is supplied through a USB-C port rated at 5 volts and 3 amps. And if you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to drop a like and consider subscribing, so like that you don't miss the next one. To get everything up and running, you really don't need that much hardware. First, you'll need a Raspberry Pi 4, and while the 2 gigs model does work, I highly recommend going up with at least 4 gigs version. You'll also need a micro SD card, and for this build I'm using a 256 gigs SanDisk card, so there's plenty of room for ROMs, artwork and metadata. And finally, you'll need a controller to play the games. I'm using the EasySMX Exo 5 here, but any USB or Bluetooth controller you already own should work just fine. For the software side of things, head over to official Batocera website at batocera.org and download the latest build for the Raspberry Pi 4. To flash the image, we'll be using Balena Etcher, which keeps the process simple and beginner friendly. Just select the Batocera image, choose your micro SD card and start the flashing process. After a few minutes the card will be ready. Insert it into a Raspberry Pi, power it on and you're ready for the first boot. The case you're seeing here was a 3D printed using Creality print with generic black PLA, and the fit is actually very snug with everything lining up perfectly. To give it a bit more character, I hand painted some details in white and grey, which gives a subtle NES inspired look. While it's not a one-to-one replica, it definitely captures that classic console feel, just in a clean black color way. And all of the files needed to print this case are available on MakerWorld, so I'll definitely leave some links down in the description. On the first boot, Batocera will automatically resize the partitions on the micro SD card, so just give it a moment to complete that process. Once you are at the main menu, the first thing I recommend doing is setting up your controller to avoid any issues later on. After that, connect to your Wi-Fi network, set up a scraper account to download box art and game data, and choose a theme that fits your setup. At this point, you're almost ready to start playing, and if you plan on emulation systems above PlayStation 1, you will need to add some BIOS files, which obviously I can't provide here, but they are quite easy to find if you know where to look. Now let's jump into games, because this is where NES ROM hacks really shine. Starting with Super Mario Bros. Time in Place. This hack introduces a clever mechanic where Mario controls time based on how fast he moves. The faster you run, the faster enemies and obstacles move, which completely changes how you approach each level and makes familiar stages feel fresh again. Simon's Redactions is another standout as it fixes many of the issues people had with Simon's Quest. Cryptic dialogue is removed, villagers give clear and useful information, and the overall experience feels much more streamlined. If you're a fan of Castlevania 1 or Castlevania 3, this one is an easy recommendation. Deadpool is a full overhaul of the original Ninja Gaiden, featuring a new intro, new enemies, and completely new visuals. Despite being an NES game, it generally feels like a custom built 8-bit Deadpool title, complete with fast paced action and tight controls, making it a must play ROM hack. Castlevania The Holy Relics is one of the heavier hitters on this list, offering new stages, updated graphics, and music taken from later Castlevania titles. One of the most interesting features here is that you can play the levels in any order, which adds a lot of replay value. Following that is Castlevania Course of Mystery, which is a completely new 8-bit Castlevania experience. It follows a traditional level by level structure and delivers a challenging but rewarding journey that feels true to the series. Sonic the Hedgehog Volume 2 for NES is a fascinating bootleg style hack that significantly improves the original. It introduces a new soundtrack, redesigned levels, updated graphics, and additional mechanics, resulting in a surprisingly polished experience. Girl Dreamtopia. This game follows the story of a young girl who is pulled into a strange new world known as Dreamtopia. What begins as a dream soon turns into a nightmare when the evil dragon Bowser takes control of all the worlds. With Dreamtopia on the brink of a destruction, she must find the courage to stop Dragon Bowser, rescue the princess, and put an end to the nightmare they are both forced to endure. Finally, Super Mario Bros. 3 Mix wraps things up as a large-scale hack that adds and modifies a wide range of features while staying faithful to the look and feel of Super Mario Bros. 3. It pays homage to both classic and future Mario titles, and it's a perfect way to end the list. And this is exactly why retro gaming is still so popular today. With a small piece of hardware like the Raspberry Pi, a polished front end like Batocera, and a passionate modding community, you can experience classic games in entirely new ways. We'll definitely be checking out ROM hacks for other systems in the future videos, but for now, that's going to wrap things up. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by buying me a coffee on my Ko-fi page, dropping a like on the video, and subscribing for more builds like this. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.